welcome back to the channel Lit Words by Ankita. I am Ankita and we gather here to discuss Indian English literature. In last video, we discussed the first ever English novel by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay named Rajmohan's Wife, and we discussed very well what were the topics, what were the theme, what were the significance. We have discussed every important thing. So as per now, we are going to discuss nativization of English in post-independent India. So what is the meaning of the title? What is the meaning of nativization? Now we'll let you know what is the meaning of nativization. But first you have to know the meaning of what is native language. Native language is the language which belongs to birthplace. Means I am from Delhi, India, and I may have a particular language. Let's take an example of reference language, that is Hindi. मैं, आप, हम सब लोग हिंदी बोलते हैं. इंडिया में हम हिंदी बोलते हैं. वी डू स्पीक हिंदी. सो दिस इज अवर नेटिव लैंग्वेज. ओके, सो व्हाट अबाउट ब्रिटिश पीपल? दे यूज्ड टू स्पीक इंग्लिश, सो देयर नेटिव लैंग्वेज इज इंग्लिश. ओके, सो नेटिवाइजेशन ऑफ इंग्लिश इन पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंट इंडिया. सो what is the meaning here of nativization in post independence India? Let's go further and let's begin with the topic. Okay, so first of all, let me tell you the question can be, what do you understand by nativization of English in India? Okay, so English has been nativized in grammar, semantics and pragmatic, acquiring the features of Indian languages as well documented in sociolinguistic literature. This can be the answer, but let's discuss in brief. It will be good for us. Okay, so let's start. The nativization of English in post-independent India is a significant phenomena that reflects the country's complex linguistic and cultural landscape. This process involves the adaptation and incorporation of English into the Indian context, resulting in a unique variant often referred to as Indian English. The following points elaborate the process in the context of post-independent India. So what does that mean? That we are going to discuss in points as well, because points will make us clarify with the answers and it will be easy to write in the exams. Okay, so if you write points in exams, it will look good. Means examiner will be happy with the presentation of the exam paper. Okay, so that is why we always discuss in points. You will have to remember all the points and heading and subheadings. It will help your presentation of your papers and helping to remember all the answers. Okay, so let's start with the first one, that is historical context. Let me tell you that whenever we discuss any of the question, first of all we should be discuss the historical context, the background of the question. Okay, so that is why we always discuss historical context. Colonial legacy. The British colonial period firmly established English as a language of administration, education and elite communication in India. What is the meaning? What British did? They just established English as the language of administration. What's that mean? We have to choose English for our instructions. Means if we are doing an exam, so we have some instructions to fill up the form and filling all the necessary details. So what we have to read all of the instructions. So in which language the instructions will be? Instructions will be the language of English, but our priority is Hindi. But what they did, we have to read English for instructional language. Means they made it administration language. Okay, so next one is post-independence scenario. After independence in 1947, English continued to hold a significant position through there were debates about its role a newly sovereign nation. Second one is constitutional and legal status. Official Language Act 1963, important point. Okay, English was retained as an associate official language alongside Hindi to facilitate administrative continuity and communication between states with different languages. Okay, so what the point says, that English was retained as an associate official language alongside Hindi. They replaced Hindi with English. Okay, so the next one is educational policy. Obviously, if they want to establish English, they will definitely come with policies. So here we are going to discuss policy. English became a crucial part of educational system, as we can see now as well. Used as a medium of instructional higher education and a compulsory subject in schools. If we are having English as a compulsory subject, then we do have to study. We have no other option. So that is how they made it compulsory or necessary in India. Okay, third point, socio-cultural factors. Linguistic diversity. India's vast linguistic diversity made English a unifying language that transcended regional linguistic boundaries. Another is class and identity. English became associated with social mobility, modernity, and prestige. It symbolized access to better education, jobs, and opportunity. Definitely, as we can see now as well, in this modern society as well. Who is the educated person? The person can speak English, is educated, is linguistic, is better knowing person, and will get opportunities as well. Means who can be successful? The person who knows English speaking. So that is how they made it circular in class and identity. Okay. Fourth is linguistic adaptation. Phonological changes. Indian English developed distinct phonological features influenced by local language such as the retroflex sounds. Lexical innovations. Indian English incorporated many loan words from Indian language, creating a unique vocabulary. Example including prepone, advance, go down, warehouse, and bungalow house. So what does that mean? The point says that as English came in India, it has some another words and meanings. But when we involve with English, what does happen? We change English with our comfort, with our understanding. With some words in British language has some another meanings, but in Indian English we do have the meaning with different word with different meanings. Okay, these are some words which maybe not exist in British language, British English language, but in Indian English language it does exist. Okay, so the next one is code switching and code mixing. It's common for Indian speakers to switch between English and their native languages within the same conversation, reflecting bilingualism. Yeah, it is very comfortable for us. We can be bilingual anytime, anywhere. Fifth point is literary contribution. Indian English literature, writers like R.K. Narayan, Salman Rushdie, and Arundhati Roy have enriched English literature with themes and narratives rooted in Indian culture. These writers are just milestone, because you will get to know in next in MEG 14 or MEG 7 you will read a novel Kantapura, or you will also learn a work by Salman Rushdie. Maybe you heard about Midnight Children. It is in our course. Midnight Children is written by Salman Rushdie. Then it is nice. It is very good work written by him. Okay. Next one is bilingual creativity. Indian authors often use English creatively, incorporating Indian idioms, expression, and cultural references. Also, Indian writers used metaphors, ornaments, rust, and so many things are there to make it more beautiful. Sixth one is media and popular culture. Journalism and publishing. English newspapers and magazines like the Times of India and Indian Today play a significant role in public discourse. I don't think I have to elaborate the point, or I should be. Cinema and entertainment. English is increasingly used in Indian cinema, televisions, and digital media, reflecting urban lifestyles and global influences. Seventh is academic and professional domains. Higher education. English is the medium of instruction in most universities and professional courses. Definitely. So we know that in DU and the high colleges, they have a perfect language. They have a particular language to speak, that is English. Means if you want to discuss anything, or you want some reference, or you want some we can say that some important talk with your professors or with your buddies who just study in top colleges of DU, in which language will they talk to you? That is English. Definitely, that is the priority of the language. Means for them that is the prior language, English. So Next is global connectivity. Proficiency in English provides Indians with a competitive edge in the global job market, especially in fields like IT and business. So as we know that whatever the courses we have in IT sectors are in English language, or if we want to escalate our business high in our job and life of business, so you must know the speaking of English, means you must know English speaking. That is essential for us. 8. Challenges and controversies. Linguistic inequality. The dominance of English has led to concerns about marginalization of regional language and socio-economic disparities. Balancing art. There is an ongoing debate about finding a balance between promoting English for its utility and preserving India's linguistic heritage. 9th is policy implication. 3-language formula. India's educational policy promotes the learning of 3 languages, typically including English, Hindi, and a regional language to foster multilingualism. Language planning. Efforts are being made to develop and promote Indian English through language planning and standardization. Future prospects. Global influence. As India's influence grows on the global stage, Indian English is likely to gain more recognition and acceptance internationally. Technological advancement. Digital platforms and social media are accelerating the spread and evolution of Indian English, making it a dynamic and rapidly changing variant. What are the points saying? Means what these points saying? What about Indian English? What are the variety? What are these things? So let me tell you one thing. British wanted us to make a Western brain with Indian blood, but what they actually did, as soon as people learning English, they're reading, they are just understanding the difference between being servant or being torturing. Means they got to know that what the British are doing with them. As soon as they are learning, they are getting the difference between Britishers and them. Means they now wanted their rights back. They got to know that they are not developing by them, they are using by them, right? So they got to know that they have to stand for themselves. That was the positive point for English native language. Means what did I say? Why did I say the native English language? Means because we had our first prior language, that was Hindi, but the second prior language became English. So for that it became native language for Indians too. Okay. So what is next? Technological advancement. Digital platforms and social media are accelerating the spread and evolution of Indian English, making it a dynamic and rapidly changing variant. Now this is the time to go for conclusion. The nativization of English in post-independent India is a multifaceted process shaped by historical, social, cultural and linguistic factors. It has led to the emergence of Indian English as a distinct and vibrant variant that reflects the country's diversity and dynamism. While it presents challenges, it also offers opportunity for creativity, global connectivity and cultural exchange. Understanding this phenomena requires a holistic approach that considers its historical roots, contemporary relevance and future potential. That was all for today's lecture. I hope you understand what is nativization. What does that mean? That nativization in post-independent India, right? Now we got to know that they wanted to make us a servant by which they can serve their work. But we are Indians. Indians are not for beginners, not at all. We made language for us. We didn't accept the British language properly. We don't speak British English. We don't speak American English. We only speak Indian English. So we made dialect for us, right? So if you agree, please comment below what do you think. Like the video, subscribe the channel and stay connected, stay healthy. Bye bye.